There is one question here from Hani, who I think is in Egypt. Hi, Hani. Nice to see you. For premiere and debut, is there a book that contains the songs and character lines?
Uh, for the no, this is free. This is free choice. So for the uh, yes, if you take, so I presume they mean the performance. So for premiere and debut, if they're doing the performance, that's free choice. It's a free choice performance, but it is there's a minimum number of lines for and number and amounts that they have to perform, but it is free choice. For the technical skills, Premiere don't do that, and debut there are the characters and the music. The characters are stipulated in the syllabus, and then there's the music that they perform to. Apart from that, it is free choice. There isn't a book that contains the songs and the character lines. No, it's free choice.
Thanks, Jackie. And just to clarify, there is quite a lot of teacher guidance on the website which you can go through that sort of talks about the different the different things you need to look out for at each grade as you go through. The other
Mhm.
thing to flag as well, of course, is the school's musical theatre company resources that are
Yeah.
on there, where we've taken um, abridged versions of existing shows and benchmark them at the right level, so you can use those as a bit of a guide for how many songs and how many lines each particular person needs to perform. But what we try to do is make it as flexible as possible, so you can take an existing show or an existing thing that you're pulling together, and make sure that the student has got the right amount of, they can still do that show, but is making sure they're putting the right amount of stuff in order to satisfy the assessment criteria.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is flexible. I have to say, with the school's musicals excerpts, there are lots of lovely premiere and debut characters. I know that for a fact. So there were, but there are also characters for higher grades as well. But if you have bought that book, you can use it again and again at different times. You might want to sort of just do a section of it for your premieres and debuts, because there's a nice little scene for them in there. In I think in Pause and Clause, there's this nice little sections, so you don't have to do that. If you've only got premiere and debut candidates and you've only got, say, I don't know, 8 of them, you don't have to perform the whole expert. You can still choose your minimum of 10 minutes that you have to do for the premiere and debut from that, and then perhaps use the rest of it at another time. It's there as a resource. You don't have to do the whole thing. You can pick out sections. Yeah. But aside from that, it's free choice.
We've had one other question come in, which is, as someone who's involved in writing the syllabus and involved in examining, is it sensible or achievable to have grade debut grade students and grade 8 students in the same show?
If the show is, I mean, you feel free to chip in here, Michelle, if there's anything you'd like to say about this, because she's such an experienced examiner. But if the show is such that there are clearly smaller, slightly simpler to perform roles, and very clearly larger, more complex roles within the same musical, then that's fine. Then that's fine, absolutely. I do know an example of, and there's an example, I think it was Little Shop of Horrors, where Audrey 2 was played by a grade 8 candidate, and the rest of the plant was played by premier candidates around her. So they had these little lines. So almost like her skirt was like, so you can, but you would need to consider that as being, you would need to consider the appropriateness of the size of the role for the premier at premier, and the size of the role for the grade 8. There are musical, I mean, if you look at something like, Annie, that's got roles for higher grades, roles for lower grades. There's lots of musicals that do that. But there are, I would say, other musicals that perhaps don't have roles for lower grades in them, so you might want to really think about your choice. You might have something like The Wizard of Oz. There's lots of lower grades because you've got the Munchkins, and there's lots of higher grades as well, but not all musicals are like that. um, and certainly if you're doing a group exam, so therefore you've got a small number of candidates, I think your choice of excerpt is going to be quite limited, rather than doing doing an excerpt from a musical for your grades 1 to 3 and another one for your grades 6 to 8, so that you really can pitch the level of the characters in the musical, the song that they sing, to the grade the candidates are taking. But
So
what you could possibly do is take a musical that you like, the students like, and do snippets from it. So you just do a little, you might do a Munchkin song from The Wizard of Oz if you want to do that for your younger grades, and then you might do something from, a duet from Wicked, or so you can actually do, if you've got Premier to grade 8, as long as you have fulfilled the assessment criteria. If you do find a musical that has all that, then great, go for it. Yeah.
So presumably, if you're in a setting where you kind of have different groups working throughout the day, so you'll have your beginners class in the morning, and then you have your sort of grade 3, 4 class after that, and then your grade 5, 6 class. You're looking at doing some sort of group exam where they're being assessed in their different sort of ability groups as a
Yeah.
basic rule.
Yeah.
Or if you're working in a context where you're working towards an end of year school production or something where you've got principals and then you've got people in the chorus, actually you could have a wide mixed ability exam where a couple of examiners come through and watch everybody all at the same time. And then you might have something in the middle where you might be preparing for that, but go, actually, to really nail down the exam, I'll take, we'll do, as you said, sort of snippets where we'll kind of just show the chorus at this stage, and then we'll show kind of a more advanced grade 8 sort of bit later on. So
And then,
to
yeah.
create the flexibility in terms of how you take what you've done, and then get our exam to sort of fit with what's best in your
Yeah.
context.
Yeah, absolutely. And you might decide that you are going to do your end of term show, and because you are going to group your students into their the grades 1 and 2s, and then the grades 4 and something, in that way you might end up with a review whereby the examiner or the 2 examiners that go to the show will be marking grades 1 to 3 first, then they will leave, and then the next ones are which is absolutely fine. And you might not perform the whole musical because there are sections of it that you decide are not going to fit in with the exam format. You might cut some out. It's all really flexible. That's fine. Yes. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Jackie. Good.
Anything else?
Well, I think it has been a day full of sort of information, full of activity, full of some really inspirational videos. I think Hanny's summed up the videos really with her statement, with the statement "Wow," which I think is which I think is fairly accurate. Please do feel free to contact us with any more questions. Visit our website. As you said, PAA at rslawards.com is probably the best way to send your queries and your feedback, and then we can kind of disseminate that and share that across the organisation. A number of these sessions they've been recorded, so they will be finessed a little bit, and then they'll be available to view kind of online after the event, and then you'll be able to share that with colleagues, with friends, with family, potentially with students or parents that want to get a bit more information as well. And on that note, I think it's time to say a big thank you to Jackie and Michelle, who have worked very hard to pull this content together. Thank you to David for introducing the second half of this. Thank you to Bex for her excellent contribution, and a big thank you to Sam Code, actually, in the marketing team, who has put this whole together, who's curated this whole program today, and has really been been the kind of the I guess the brains behind the whole thing. So thank you very much, everybody, and we look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.